G'day cocktail lovers, it's experiment time and I'm experimenting with one of my favourite cocktails, the martini. And it's all because I found something new and interesting. I find it very hard to resist new and interesting. When in one of my favourite shops here in Melbourne called the Bitters Lab, they literally have hundreds of different sorts of bitters and all sorts of cocktail accoutrements and some spirits, liqueurs and vermouths. They actually had an umami vermouth. And I'm partial to the occasional dirty martini, so I thought, umami vermouth, that sounds like a thing. Now, it's flavoured with wormwood, porcini, mushrooms, wakame, capers, and miso. So it's really interesting, very, very unusual for a vermouth, and I just had to try it. Now, normally I would make with a dry vermouth, because I like dry martinis, and this is an Australian vermouth as well. They're both made in Australia, and I mean, honestly, it's time for a side-by-side comparison. These were pretty simple. I've made them half size because I don't want to get completely wasted. I was mildly tempted to do them full size because I do like big old, icy cold, boozy martinis. One immediate notice, you notice the umami vermouth is much darker, which is not all that surprising with those elements that are designed to give it the umami flavour. But I made this one fairly simply, like this. In a mixing glass, it's just 1 part of dry gin and then half a part of the vermouth. Add ice to the glass, stir that for 20 to 25 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and then I strained it into my little mini coupette. I also made this much wetter than I normally would a martini. If that has always sounded weird to you, wet and dry martinis, what does that mean? It really is just the ratio of vermouth to the gin in the martini. You notice I don't say or vodka, because if it's got vodka, it's not a martini. It's a piece of shit is what it is. Don't do it. Use gin. The less vermouth that's in the martini, the drier it is. I normally do like 5 parts gin to 1 part vermouth, which is fairly dry. Some people do it even drier than that, but this is just 2 parts of gin to 1 part vermouth. Much wetter because I really wanted to taste the vermouth. So more or less as a control, I'm going to have the first sip of just with a regular dry vermouth. Beautiful, clean taste. Oh, even with more vermouth than I normally have, that is just wonderful. Now, the moment of truth, what's the umami vermouth like? Now that's not as dirty as a dirty martini, like if you'd put olive brine in there, but it's starting to bring that umami, dare I say, saltiness in there. Wow, that is really good. And honestly, I really like swapping between a dry martini and a dirty one. Mrs. Angry and I often do that when we go out to bars. We'll order 2 martinis, 1 dry and 1 dirty, and we'll just swap sip for sip, and it's awesome. That's what I'm gonna do. I guess you can't stop being on his double fisting bullshit. This guy, that's who. Okay, that was an interesting experiment. I might go full dirty on that at one point, actually add some olive brine as well, but it's a really nice variation on a standard martini. So yeah, don't be afraid to experiment, because as simple as a martini is, gin and vermouth, there is an endless array of possibilities. Changing the ratio between the gin and the vermouth, using any of the thousands of gins that are available in the world, the hundreds of vermouths that are available in the world. It's still a martini, and it's something different each time when you mix that up. I'm going to enjoy this little experiment, and I hope you're enjoying yourself wherever you are. Until I see you again, I will say, cheers.